Harman Phoenix is without a doubt one of the more ambitious film projects recently. The idea of making a brand new color film from scratch in a year is an incredible accomplishment. But of course, it's not perfect. Its flaws are well documented by now, but that was always part of the plan, to get something out there, gain feedback, and to iterate. Which leads us to this. This is Harman Phoenix II, the newest iteration of the Harman Phoenix line. Big thanks to Harman for sending me a few rolls to basically destroy. So what's it like? Let's find out. Here are two rolls. This one is the original Phoenix, and this one is Phoenix 2. To eliminate as many variables as possible, these were shot side by side and developed in the same tank. Right off the bat, there is a visual difference between the two negatives. Phoenix has this clearish blue-gray base, whereas Phoenix 2 has this darker purpley base, more reminiscent of like XP2. Now, this camera isn't really capturing what I'm seeing in real life because it looks more like this. Phoenix 2 is darker and a little bit denser, but when you look at the leader, it actually looks thin, like it's underdeveloped. The original Phoenix was so temperamental that results were heavily influenced by each step of the process. Development, scanning, and editing. And I'm not really sure if this is less of an issue with Phoenix 2, but I'm going to be a little more open-ended with my conclusions just in case. So with that said, the uncorrected scans for Phoenix can be a little problematic depending on how it was scanned. These examples were scanned on a Nikon Super Cool Scan 4000. The original Phoenix has this red cast. It's not hard to correct, but I've noticed that some auto color correction can lean into the reds, giving it more of a redscale vibe. So the original Phoenix does require you to work to get more neutral looking results. What about Phoenix 2? Scanning with the same settings, the scans were more neutral in comparison. They're less contrasty, less saturation, easier to correct. My uncorrected scans still skewed towards the red, but much more manageable and easily corrected compared to the original Phoenix. I feel like Phoenix 2 has more latitude as well, and I've been able to manipulate the scans a little easier, so in that regard, much improved. From this one example, this seems to be more reined in and manageable compared to the original Phoenix. When you shoot it at box speed and develop it normally, I think you'll get pretty consistent results. But what if you don't shoot it at box speed and or develop it normally? I just want to get this one out of the way. This was pushed 3 stops, or should I say I tried to push it 3 stops. I don't know if the developer is going bad or if I didn't develop it long enough, but it came out real thin. Like it's underdeveloped again? If you ignore the fact that this looks awful, then it looks fine. I feel like when I push film 3 stops, I am morally obligated to pull it 3 stops as well. These negatives also look a little underdeveloped. Now this one makes a little more sense because it was developed just for 2 minutes. That's normally how long it takes for me to pull 3 stops, but it's still a short development time. But whatever, what do the scans look like? Honestly, I think this looks good. It's not as contrasty or crunchy, and I think the colors are more pleasing. There is still a subtle red cast to everything, but it's simple to correct. Even then, I think the red cast is just fine. And looking at this one shot, the longer exposures do help accentuate the halations, if that's your thing. So surprisingly, this turned out pretty good. Up next, bleach bypass. Bleach bypass increases the contrast while dialing back the saturation, and I think this is kind of no exception. This just looks like bleach bypass. Not much more to say, but I think it looks alright. Next, I decided to red scale it. I think it looks good. It looks like red scale. I did overexpose some of these by a stop, and a lot of the reds kind of disappeared and made way for more yellows and oranges. Finally, I cross-processed it in E6. Well, it's a positive. That's about the only good thing I can say about it. It's underdeveloped again. It's grossly underexposed as well. I shot this at EI 100, so I overexposed it by a stop, which was sort of the butter zone for original Phoenix cross-processed in E6, but this apparently has a completely different butter zone, so good to know. Now, normally when something is horrifically underexposed or underdeveloped, I like to take it into Photoshop and try auto tone. Most of the time the results aren't great because it doesn't really know what's going on and it tends to freak out. As an example, this shot just kind of turned crazy blue. Not great, but there's not really a whole lot there to begin with, so you just get photos that look blue. But every once in a while the colors will just freak out in just the right way where you could get something that looks like this, or this, or this, or my favorite, this. This is the uncorrected scan. Looks terrible, but one auto tone later, you get this. I accidentally made color infrared. Obviously it's a fluke and something that can't be done consistently, but hey, if this is gonna blow up in my face, I might as well get something interesting out of it. To wrap this up, I don't know what went wrong. If leader density is anything to go by, then every roll came out thin, meaning it all is underdeveloped. This is color, it's a standardized process, so I just assumed it would develop evenly and fine. And all these rolls weren't developed all at the same time, that's multiple development sessions. And even the E6 roll was developed in a lab, and it all came out thin, so it's confusing. Please don't take any of this as some kind of indictment on the film. If anything, this is on me. I honestly should have taken more time and attention to address these issues as they sprung up, but instead we ended up with this clown show. So I really can't come up with a conclusion here. I still support this cause, and I will pick up a few rolls just to try to get an explanation as to what happened. And honestly, I want to see if I could replicate that infrared look, but in conclusion, TBD.